I have exactly 10 months left to live, and I am not the only one. There are 8 of us. When we went to Nigeria, it was me and other 7 South Africans. We left Johannesburg and we went to Nigeria, where we signed our names in a book. This we did. I'm going to speak about my own sacrifices. There is a deadline, and this deadline, it is in December. If I do not sacrifice my own wife, the woman that I love, and the child that she is carrying, I am going to be blind by Christmas, and I am going to be dead by New Year's Eve. Brother Nashi, please don't even mention my name. Just call me anonymous. I'm writing this to you because I feel as if I am already losing my sight. As I sit here in my mansion in Waterfall Estate in Midrand, rather, life is just difficult. When I go to the doctors, I'm being told that there is nothing that is wrong with my eyes, but I know that time is coming. The Grandmaster, he is always coming to me and reminding me. He flies from Nigeria and he appears when I least expect him, and he tells me that I have not yet paid the interest. Before the G-Wagons, before I had gotten a tender, I was just someone that was struggling in Pretoria. I had a BCom degree and I just wanted to become something, but South Africa failed me. South Africa was very cold to me. I spent a lot of years just trying to get a job. I tried each and everything that I thought was possible, walking to the CBD even when I had no money, listening to those people that are motivational speakers, thinking that whatever that they say to you, if you can say it too, you are going to make it. I had a belief that if I drop CVs as many as possible, I was going to be able to get a job. I was living in a room with 3 other guys where we had only 1 electric plate and you had to eat noodles every night. That room, I can't even forget the way that sometimes it used to smell. It used to smell poverty. The breaking point was when my mother called me from Limpopo and I could hear her coughing. My mom, she told me that she was really tired. She was exhausted and she just wanted to die. I cried and I said, no, you're not going to die. We did not have money, but my mom could be cured. She needed a specialist, but I only had 42 rand in my bank account. I cried. I still remember that day. I cried in a park near the Union buildings until my chest was hurting. That was the day when I cursed God. Please, God, forgive me for cursing you. The next morning, it was as if the devil had heard me cursing God, because the very next morning, somehow, surprisingly, I saw an old school friend. I will call him Sifiso, at a car wash in Hatfield. He was driving a Lamborghini Urus. He saw me and he was like, yo, dude, where have you been? I have been looking for you. Where have you been? And then we started talking. He looked at me and he felt so sorry for me. He asked me what kind of a job I was doing. And I said, no, I'm not working. I'm just unemployed. We spoke and he said, man, come with me today to Rosebank. Come tonight. There is something that I want to show you. Maybe it is the work of your ancestors. Oh, so now you are dealing with ancestors. He told me that without your ancestors, you are virtually nothing. For your ancestors are the ones that do everything for you. And that was the day I stopped being a good boy and I became evil. Later on, he came and he picked me up. Even some other people, they were like, yo, is it you, Anonymous, getting into a Lamborghini? Because he came to the place where I was staying. We then went off to Rosebank. Indeed, he had to borrow me some of his clothes because as for mine, they were really old. We went to this other club in Rosebank, and the club in Rosebank felt like a different world. There were women everywhere. I was then introduced to Chief. Chief, he was a big Nigerian man. When he looked at me, I felt as if I was a small little boy. I felt as if he was even reading my bank balance through my poverty stricken skin. He just said to me, "My friend," Chief said, "Sifiso says that you are tired of being poor. Being good is for people who like suffering. I have a trip going to Nigeria. I already have other 7 people. We are going to get some money and come back to South Africa." He said that and he grabbed another beautiful South African lady, and that woman was all over him. He looked at me and he said, "Do you want this? You can have her for tonight." I did not even know what to say. I was going to cheat on my girlfriend. I told him, and everyone laughed. The music nearly got stopped because of the way those Nigerians were laughing so loud. People thought that maybe there was something that was happening because of the way that they were so loud. I was talking about cheating on my girlfriend, yet these guys, they had 3, 4 girlfriends in that same club. I was given that beautiful girl. I went with him and we made love like I had never made love to a woman before. She was the most beautiful woman like ever. She had everything that my heart had ever desired. Then later on, when I was with Sifiso the next day, Sifiso told me he was like name dropping a lot of politicians in South Africa that had tenders, but he told me that those tenders, they got them in Nigeria through the spirit, no corruption. He did not even tell me when I was going to Nigeria. He told me that all that we had to do was for me to go and get a passport. We went and we got the passport. That was what made us to stop going to Nigeria so fast. And after my passport was out, that was when we went to Nigeria. It was me, like I told you earlier on, with other people that were there with me. There were women as well. These were women that were hustlers that wanted to go and get some spiritual occultic powers in Nigeria. We got onto the private jet. I drank champagne that cost more than my father's whole RDP house. We boarded this private jet. We went to Lanseria Airport. I told myself that I was doing this for my mother. I did not even know that in the spiritual world, there is no refund. There is no I am sorry. We landed in Lagos. Yo, it was very hot, and I knew that there was no more turning back. As for Lagos, it was different from South Africa. It was as if my whole world had done a 360 on me. We were rushed into a blacked out SUV and we were driven for hours and hours from the city. And those people that were driving us, they told us that by the time that we come back to Lagos, we are going to come back as rich men and women. And when we got into the village, I can say that it was a village that was in the middle of nowhere. We reached a compound. This compound, you could just see that this is a shrine. Then we were taken inside. They had a very big wall, and on top of that big wall, there were like bottles there, and it was as if they did not want people from the outside to come inside. We met other South Africans. The rule of that shrine is that you do not talk to other people that you meet inside the compound. You can only talk with the people that you have met at the gate, and then you go into the shrine together. Other than that, you are strictly forbidden from ever doing such a thing. We waited because there were a lot of people. One couple that made me to feel so sorry even about my own situation, feeling sorry for them. This were a South African couple. They'd brought their own child who was crippled, and they wanted the Grandmaster, whom we had not yet met. This man, he was their final hope. They thought that he was going to heal their son so that he can be able to walk. When the day finally came, that was when we were told that our group, we were supposed to climb this other mountain, and we were taken by other men and women, those that were working for the Grandmaster. We walked for about 45 minutes until we reached the mountain, and we were told that we had to take off our shoes For this Grandmaster or the Sangoma, he stays in the mountain. We walked until we had reached the mountain where this man was, but he was inside a cave. That was where he stayed. We waited for there were other people that were in the queue. Whether it rains or if it gets hot, there is no shelter in that mountain. You just sit there. But we were told that we were under the protection of the shrine. You will never be attacked by wild animals, and there was no even mosquito that would bite you because we were being protected. We stayed in the mountain for 2 days. We were not eating anything, we were just drinking blood. The blood was the most terrifying thing because every morning there was blood that was brought out from the cave, and each and every one would be given a cup. It was a clay cup that was full of blood, and you had to drink it. The rule was that you were never supposed to vomit. If you vomited, then those women, they will pour some more blood for you, and you had to drink it. When our time came, that was when I was brought into the cave, because we were being brought into the cave one by one. Each one was supposed to stand on his own to commit his own sins. So when I got inside, I expected to see maybe a demon, but I just saw this small man that was sitting inside that cave. He was semi-naked. He did not even say hello. He just picked up a small silver bell and rang it once. And then the translator said to me, "The Grandmaster can see that you want money. And the Grandmaster says that you envy those people that you hear, even on the news, that they are doing tenders. If you want to have a big business, you must give something that you love the most to the Grandmaster, and everything is going to be given to you." He then brought out a book. This book, the Grandmaster was sitting on top of it, and it had a cow's skin that was covering it, but in the inside of that book, it looked normal. I was told to open an empty page, and then I opened that empty page. I was then told to strip myself naked and to masturbate myself with that book on top of this other rock, and I had to leave my semen inside that book. That is how you sign. Later on, I was going to be given a knife, and I had to cut myself and to put blood on top of my semen, close it, and give it back to the Grandmaster. I was told that the seed had to be someone who brought me into the world. My mother, she was the one that was chosen. My mother, she was sick in Limpopo, and I only had 42 rand in my bank account. The Grandmaster rang the bell again. Then I saw a vision of myself dying as a beggar, and I saw myself even going to prison. And I asked that translator to speak with the Grandmaster because I could not understand that vision. I was told that within 3 years, that was going to be my life. Go to prison and come back, and then I was going to die as someone that was begging on the street because I had the demon of poverty that had been following me for all of my life. I then did the deed, and I masturbated into that book, and I signed my mother's life away. Then we came back to Joburg. I can say that flying back to Joburg, it was different than when we went to Nigeria because we were talking to each other. But when we came back, everyone was just quiet. There was no one who was talking with another person. Everyone was just thinking about the sacrifices that they had done, and there was no one who spoke about his sacrifices. I knew that some had sacrificed their wives, kids, sisters, like me, my mother, fathers. We arrived back in South Africa, went back to Sunnyside. My sister then called me. When she called me, she was screaming. She was at work. She called me and she said, "Mom is gone." She said that Mom, she just fell down. I did not even cry because I knew that even though I had sacrificed my mom, but it was only for a little while. And I had been told that if I sacrifice my mom, what I was supposed to do was that I was supposed to buy an expensive coffin for my mother, which was going to be used when she was going to be buried. Whilst I was at the funeral, already I had been told to create a company and start applying. An email popped up. Everything is done in the spirit. That one I now believe. There was an award notification, tender RT 2019-01, volume 15,450,200. I still remember it with my own head. I started laughing until I could not even breathe. I had to go to the toilet because we were at my mother's funeral. I was a millionaire and I had sacrificed my own mom. And at that funeral, I had been given some money which I was supposed to spend. They had given me 200K, which I was supposed to spend on my mom. We hired Mercedes-Benz cars, a tombstone for show off. All the aunties that were there, they said, "Can you see how he has honored his mother?" They were eating the food that I had bought with her blood and her life. I stood at her grave in a 20 million suit that I had bought, and I had traded her soul for my own riches, and the Grandmaster had collected what belonged to him. Within a year, I had 3 more big contracts. I was moving into a massive mansion in Midrand. I bought a G-Wagon. I married a beautiful woman whom I'll name Lerato. She thought that I was just a genius businessman. She loved me and I love her too. But my wealth is built on my mother's grave. I can drink 12,000 whiskey and not even finish even a glass of that whiskey and throw it away. I can't sleep properly though. Every single night there is a time when I wake up when I hear that silver bell ringing in my ears. Sometimes I can even see Nigerian naira. What use is Nigerian naira in South Africa? We don't use that money here. So whenever the Grandmaster is angry, this is what he will do to you. He will withdraw all the South African rands and he will leave you with Nigerian naira notes and you can't buy anything. It is a sign. The Grandmaster, he is letting me know that he is the one who owns my money. I can walk through my 6-bedroomed house and feel like I am a poor man. I can sometimes live like a king, but feeling like a poor man. I might have money, but I know that this money can be taken away for me if I refuse to do some rituals. In 2024, I can say that was when the haunting got serious. I was in my walk-in closet when I looked in the mirror and I saw my mother. My mother, when I saw her, she was wearing the dress that we buried her in, and she was covered in blood. She was holding a silver bell and she looked like a zombie. I smashed that mirror with a 40,000 watch and I sat on the floor. I was crying. From there on, I always cover every mirror if I am in the closet. My wife thought that I was having a mental breakdown because I told her that we had lost a contract. My house, there are times when it seems as if it is not even there. I don't know how to properly explain it to you. Me and my wife, we might be in bed, but when I look around, I see myself in a graveyard, not in South Africa, but in Nigeria. All of these things that happen to me, my wife, she does not even know that this is what is happening around her. She will think that she is in bed with a man, but I know that we will be in Nigeria at a cemetery. I even feel sorry for her relatives if she is around. There is one cousin of Lerato. When she is around, she is a beautiful woman. And the reason as to why she is single, it is because of the Grandmaster. When she is at my house, that Grandmaster appears in her bedroom and sleeps with her. Because he leaves his spiritual seed inside of her private part, there is no man that can sleep with him. She does not know this. If a man tries to sleep with him, then that man will start to experience symptoms like a man that has erectile dysfunction. Even if he drinks mpesu or whatever, his manhood will never work. because of the Grandmaster's seed. This happens to Lerato's cousin, and she does not know that the reason as to why she loves to visit us and to sleep over at our house, it is because she will be called by her spiritual husband. She gets satisfied in bed. She really does not care about sleeping with a man in the real world. Lerato told me that she is pregnant. I am terrified. I don't have joy at all, for I know that she is my sacrifice. I don't know how many times I have driven from Joburg going to Polokwane. There is this other prophet that I know very well. I have gone to him. I have tried to negotiate with him. He has tried to pray for me, but there was a day when he backed away from me and he said, please get out of here, get out of the church. Because he said that behind me there was a big snake. This big snake, it had the head of his son who is in varsity in Cape Town. It was eating him alive, and he said, I can't touch you, so you could not pray for me. I have tried to negotiate even with Chief, but he told me that he does not want to get himself in trouble. He still wants to enjoy the couple of years that he only has left to live. In our group, there are people that even talk about committing suicide. There is one girl that we went with to Nigeria. This girl, she told me that she feels like just locking herself up in a car, and then she pours petrol on the back seat on herself. Then she lights the car on fire so that she can die. She says, maybe if I do this, if this ritual money is gone, my mother, she can be able to get my life insurance, for there is no one who will know that I burnt myself to death. They'll just say that maybe it was an accident. So I always hear the voice telling me that I am supposed to sacrifice my wife. I have to give them to the Grandmaster by Christmas of this year, 2026. We are in 2026, and it is really terrifying. I am so thin. I'm getting thin because of this thing of me thinking about my wife. I have few months left to make a choice. When I look at my wife, I don't see her anymore. I see a grave. The Grandmaster wants my wife so that the wealth, it stays in my family. If I refuse, I'm going to be blind and I'm going to be dead by New Year. I have money, but I would give it all back so that I can go back to that shitty room in Sunnyside with my mother alive so that I can just hug her. I wish that I had never gone to Nigeria in the first place. I never knew that there are people that are okay with this. Like Chief, he really does not care. He sleeps with any woman, HIV positive or negative. He does not condomize. He's not afraid of STIs. He laughs whenever I ask him a couple of questions, and he says, enjoy money, enjoy life. We are all going to die. Even the pastors, they die anyway. This is my confession. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brothers. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you have any confession that you want to share with us, you can send your confessions at Brother Nashi on TikTok as well as on Facebook. Then we can share your confessions here. There are those that did not want to share their confessions through WhatsApp because they were afraid of using their WhatsApp numbers. But on TikTok, you can just create even a ghost account. Then you can share your confession with us. Tell me what you think about this confession. I'll be back with another episode.